Hello friends, welcome to Coding Garden with CJ. Apparently I clicked the wrong button and you actually could see me for a second, but welcome back. This is the second stream tonight, and I built these things. So these are quiz show buzzer buttons. In the last stream, I put it all together, and while I was away, I actually painted the enclosures and filed out a nice little area for the wires to go in. So it's looking legit, if I may say so myself. This little box contains the game controller. Each of these buttons is hooked up to it. Then it's USB and it goes into the computer. So this is what we built. Now I actually need to build a Jeopardy app, which these buttons will be used for. So contestants will each have their own buzzer, and then when an answer comes up, they'll buzz in to say the question. Let's say hello to all the people in the chat. Bob's Paradox, is it over? It's just starting. So I did a 4-hour stream. This is another one. I don't know. I mean, I have to use this app tomorrow, so I'm going to stream until the app is done. I mean, I'm sure I'll do bug fixes and stuff after I stop streaming, but yeah. And welcome, El Borate. Welcome. And Wally and Oliver, welcome. Isaac, round 2. Yes, it is. And apologies in the Discord. I sent the wrong link. I updated it. Sorry if you got pinged multiple times. Hello, Jeff. Welcome to the stream. And Rostol, hello. Gaming, but not really. Welcome back. And Himanshu, welcome. Did I say hello to Wally? Cool. Gaming, but not really says, looks really professional. I appreciate that. Like, this definitely came out way better than I ever thought it would. Like, I'm actually really proud of this enclosure here. Like, I literally drilled these holes and like glued the board inside. Like this, I'll show what it looks like. For like, this is how it came. It's just a black enclosure that I got like a 5-pack on Amazon, but we custom fit it for all our stuffs, and yeah, looks good. Cool. Okay, let's do this. I'll show you what I already have. What I was using to test this earlier. So there actually is an API in the browser. I think it's called the Gamepad API. So web browsers can actually detect USB game controllers. And it's this Gamepad API. So there is an event, Gamepad connected, that gets fired whenever you plug in a USB of a gamepad. And then a gamepad has various things on it, like an array of all the buttons in it. These 3 here are 3 buttons on the gamepad. Lots of other info. And it's actually fairly simple. So you listen for when the gamepad is connected, and then you have access to gamepad.buttons. The way it works, though, is you have to pull it. So there are no events for, like, button pressed. And so I built a really simple app to demonstrate. So this is 0, 1, and 2. And you see on the screen, let me, like, zoom in way up. Yeah, so when each one is pressed, it detects which button was pressed. And I basically have code that's just listening for it. This was just a proof of concept using the Gamepad API to make sure that all of this is working. The the app itself, I'm actually building with Vue.js, and it's an Electron app. And I've built parts of it yet. I just haven't actually built the game part of it yet. Real Cygnus is asking, what happens if more than one button is hit simultaneously? Right now, my code does nothing. So the way the game show works is the first person to buzz in gets to answer the question, or give the question to the answer. But I can write custom code. Like, you can actually detect, like, that all 3 of them are pressed at the same time, but I'll have to write the code that says that was the first button to be pressed, that kind of thing. And Rostel says, welcome to Soldering Iron. Welcome to Soldering Garden. Yes, I soldered how many endpoints? 1, 2, 4, 6? Yeah, I soldered six wires today, so that was fun. But yeah, I spray painted these things. It was quick drying spray paint, and then I had a fan on them for, like, while I was eating my dinner. I'll be honest, I did get a little lightheaded from spray painting, and now my house smells like, I spray painted outside, but I brought them in. My house smells a little bit like spray paint. I don't care. We got stuff to do. Let's do it. Yeah, and there's a question in the chat. Is it possible to long pull at all? I don't think so. Like, you literally can just say, give me the gamepad and give me the current state of all of the buttons, one at a time. So the code I wrote constantly gets the gamepad and gets the latest state of all the buttons. Isn't that satisfying? Yeah, and Oliver's mentioning, and that's probably what I'm going to do. So as soon as one button is pressed, move into a state that doesn't listen for a press anymore. And that's pretty much how Jeopardy works. Like, a person buzz in, then it's not going to accept any of these others, and then a timer starts, and that person that buzzed in has, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds to answer the question. If they run out of time or get it wrong, then the other two have options to buzz in. So I need to do that logic as well. We got to do all of it, but let's show what I already have built. So I'll just fire it up. And honestly, I don't really have the time to talk about how I did it so far, but it is an Electron app running with Vue.js. And I think I'll minimize this for now, but here it is. It's a desktop application. And the idea is you can manage answers. Just got a super chat from Jeff. Jeff says, great comparison video of Vue versus React versus Angular. Very valuable information on the complexities and benefits of each. I appreciate that. Thanks so much. Yeah, and some other things in the chat. You could write a web worker to generate events. I may not do a web worker, but I might actually create some sort of event emitter that I can use in my Vue app that's just like button pressed or something like that. Yeah. So let's explain what's going on here. So this is an Electron app. Like, Electron itself is a platform, a framework for building desktop applications, but it allows you to use browser technology, web browser technology, and node.js technology. So you actually get access to all of the node modules out there and all of the native features of the device and file system, but basically inside of a web browser. And it's essentially a Chromium web browser running in its own window. So I built this app, and the idea is you can go in and manage answers. So I have categories. I'm I'm doing all of this last minute. Like, tomorrow is the game, but the idea is each game has, I don't know how many categories. Jeopardy game board. Let's just look up some images of a Jeopardy game board. Yeah, so this is what a Jeopardy game board looks like. And it has 1, 2, 3, it has 6 categories. So each game will have 6 unique categories, and each category has 5 questions associated with it. So the app that I've built so far allows you to essentially just manage those categories and then all 5 questions in any given category. Right now, I don't have any actual questions or answers. I'm gonna have to add those. But for example, like for the JavaScript category, the $200 question is, you're in Jeopardy, you're first given the answer. So the contestants will see a way to voluntarily enforce stricter parsing and error handling on your JavaScript code at runtime. And then they have to buzz in and say, what is use strict? And if they say the right answer, they get 200 points. So that's essentially the game that we're going to be building. So what I've built so far is a way to manage categories and answers. How many do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have enough to make one game. Probably after the stream and tomorrow, I'll be adding different categories and questions. But the idea now is, now that I have all of these categories, I want to be able to go in and create a game that has, was it 6? Yeah, 6 categories in it. And probably be able to manage the 3 users associated with that game. Because tomorrow, I'm probably going to do 3 games. We might do some sort of tournament style where the winner of the 3 games plays one final game, but essentially I need to manage games that have several categories associated with them. Yeah, and this is an Electron app, and the idea is I'm going to have 2 windows. So this will be like the management section where I can control the in-progress game, and like when a player buzzes in, or when a player chooses a category, I have to trigger that category to be shown. So basically I'll have like one UI that is the management UI that I see, and then I'll have another window that is the actual game board that all of the users will see. And basically I'll just use, I'm going to be using my laptop, and I'll use an extended display. So instead of showing a mirrored screen, I can see the admin app, and then everyone else sees the game app. How are we going to do that? I don't know. Right now, we need to manage games. The way this is set up, though, I'll do a quick overview of how it's set up, but I don't have much time, and I got to do some coding, so let's do it. Oh, I guess that's true. So I think that's why I'm not going to add new questions and answers on stream. I'm going to build the game, though, but yeah, somebody mentioned like they could just watch this stream and have all the questions and answers. But the way this is working, this is a Vue.js application. I used the new Vue CLI to generate it, and then I used plugins. So actually, I'll show this really quick, which is pretty cool. So here I'll bring up the Vue UI, which is a part of the new Vue CLI tool. Zoom out, and you can see that I have this project that was generated. It's called Dev Party or Dev Jeopardy. And inside of it, you can see all of my installed plugins. So I actually installed the Electron Builder plugin, which gives me an Electron app just by installing the plugin. And I installed the Bootstrap Vue plugin, which gave me Bootstrap components just by installing the plugin. This UI actually allows you to go in and add plugins, and you can search across all the various plugins that are available for you. But it was actually really easy to get set up with an Electron and Vue app using plugins. And then the other thing is the database is all local. Like there's no server, there's no API. It's all being saved in the browser itself. And for that, I'm using knee-db and then the knee-db promises wrapper. So knee-db is just a way of storing data locally on a device or in the browser. And essentially, it has an API very similar to MongoDB, but it all saves it on the device itself. There's no need to contact an API. So one view I have, for example, like manage answers, this is what I was just showing. It shows like the categories on the left and the answers on the right. To grab all of the categories, I just find them in the database. To insert a new category, I just do database categories.insert. Super simple. Cool. JT is asking, how will I deal with the admin interface during the game? I have no idea. I think what I can do is if I'm using, I'm going to be using Vuex, so I can have a store that's like the current state of the game, and then actually have two windows that are both talking to the same store. So in the admin interface, if I set the current question, the other window will automatically pop up and show the current question. Something like that. Yeah. This is going to be a chill stream, but it's also going to be like, I'm going to be coding pretty fast. I don't think I'm going to explain that much. I don't have much time. We have to use this tomorrow. Let's get going. So one thing is I want to be able to manage games. And that is like create a new game, choose 6 categories for that game, and maybe put the names of 3 players or something like that. So this will probably be like, I think right now in my template, I just had some hard-coded like card with the game title and like description. But what I need to do is when this component is loaded, get all of the games from the database. So right now in my database, I do have like a games data store. So we'll use that. And let's do this. We're going to import db from db. And when this thing is mounted, we need to talk to the DB and just say, find all the games. We'll await this, make this an async function, and then we'll say like this.games is equal to all the games in the database. Why is this complaining? I do not need a file extension, and I can also do that. So to manage the games, we're going to get them all from the database, and then we need some data. So here on our data, we have games, which is initially an empty array. And then this card will essentially be repeated. Well, actually, this column, I think it's taking up one column anyways, but this gets repeated for every game in our database. And we'll have a key, which is going to be something like game.id. The title will be bound to game.name. And then this will be like game.description. Something like that. And then we probably need a form below it to like create a new game. I can look back at my manage answers component, and I had, yeah, this nice little form right here that allowed you to specify a category name to add it. This is gonna be very similar. So like right below all of the games, we'll just have like a form to add a new game. Like that. We need a label. This will be game name, label for name. The model will be game.name. Enter a game name. And then we'll also have a text area for the description of the game. Yeah, and so before we get into the actual like game logic, hey, what's happening? That needs to go there. Yeah, I need to be able to create games, so that's what I'm doing here. But once we'll create one game, and then we can actually get into like playing that game and the game logic. Oh, somebody remind me like in 10 minutes, and I'll push this up to GitHub. Yes, this will be free and open source, and everybody can access it. Did the break timer pop up? Like, I feel like I've just been ignoring it accidentally, like subconsciously. And hello, JP. Welcome to the stream. And hello, Nick Z. Welcome to the stream. Nick says, nice hat. Thank you. Okay, so you have the name. Let's just see what this looks like. So if we're managing games, oh no! Oh yeah, we need some data. So we'll call it like game. We'll have a name that's initially empty and a description that's initially empty. Cool. We do want this to take up the whole row. I guess technically I could put like a grid inside a grid. I don't think I want to do that. And bform input. So this is Bootstrap Vue. It's a component library. I wonder if they have bform text area. I guess they do. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah. Really, we want this whole form to be like 100% though. New game form. And let's just give it like a 100% width. Cool. And then for a text area, I think you can do like rows and columns, right? Rows 10. Nice. That's way too many. 5. 3. Cool. So this is our nice little form. We can enter a game name, like call it game 1, description. This is the first game. And then we'll add it, which we'll put it in the database, and then we'll get the latest and list all of them out. So let's have a method, add game. And when the form is submitted, we will call add game. We need to yeah, here we'll do this because why not? So we'll make this an async function. We'll say games.insert, and we will insert like this.game. We need to copy it though, so let's insert an object that has all the properties of this.game. And so that should put it in the database. And let's have a method get games. And I'll just move this into get games. And we'll call this here. So when the component mounts, get all of the games, which will set games. When we add a game, we're gonna insert it, and then afterwards we'll do this dot get games. So after you insert a game, get the games. I think that should do it. So game name is game 1. Description is this is the first game. Add the game. The whole thing refreshed, but you'll notice game 1 is there, and I could do like game 2. This is the second game. Oh, I need to prevent default. That's why it's refreshing. Submit.prevent. I wonder if I'm doing that in the other component as well. I'm not. Okay. So we can add game 2. Oh, they're in the wrong order though. Or are they? We have a row, we have a column. Are they going to be in the order of most recently inserted? Weird. Oliver's asking why not just insert the game itself? Because I want to do this. Well, actually, I was gonna do this dot game equals like this dot game dot name, and it would have been bound. But now I can do this, so then I can just do this. Yeah, so insert the game and then reset the game so that the form clears out. I am very curious. Let's make one more game. Yeah, they're in like some weird order. You know what I don't have? Oh, I do. View DevTools. Cool. We can look at the state. Weird. Maybe. Honestly, it doesn't matter what order the games are in. I'm just curious why they're in like a weird order. Like that's the order that it's getting them back from the database. Huh. Yes, I am using Vue and Electron together. Okay. We've got games, whatever, that's fine with me. So now that we have the games, we want to go in and manage the game. And when you manage the game, you should be able to set the player names and also add all 6 categories for that given game. So let's create a new view. Call this like manage game. Should it be manage or should it be play game? It'll be manage. Because I think even like this component, we can use this component to control the gameplay as well. So like set the current question or answer, have timers, and etc. Missing the primary key. I'm using NeDB, which works like MongoDB, and it automatically generates that ID thing. I think the thing about inserting into the database is you cannot guarantee the order. It's just like putting it in there. I could technically put like a created date and then sort by created date, but honestly, I don't care. Like this order can be any order it wants, and then as long as it has a unique name, I know how to get into it. One thing I'm going to do though is look up the Vue Bootstrap docs, because I want to make those like one column, like each column should take up all 12 of the columns. Layout and grid system. So I'm using b-column. If I want to do 12 columns, LG equals 2, and do columns equals 12. Yeah, that's what I need. Because I want each of these here to take up the whole row. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, cool. I could give them some padding. Is it because it's not because it's async, because so here I could technically do, let's do this. Watch me. So when the component is mounted, I'm just going to delete everything that's in the database. So, well, I can leave that. Let's comment this out. Quick stretch. Whew. But yeah, when the component is mounted, we'll do db.games. I think it's remove anything multi-true. I know that because I've done it before. So yeah, so that removed everything. So yeah, so now there's nothing in the database, and if I add game 1, this is game 1. Cool. We can go back, it's still there. Yeah, remove the removing. Game 2, this is game 2. I have no idea. So the way we're getting the games is just by getting all of them back from the database. I'm not gonna worry. Like I said, I don't care about the order, but it's just doing weird things. Wally says, "Don't forget the heat shrink tubing." Thank you, Wally. I forgot it several times earlier when I was doing soldering. Okay, so we need a manage game. Let's scaffold this out. Manage game. And then we'll create a route for managing the game. Yeah, we want this to be a top level route. I have some nested routing going on with the categories, but we'll call this manage game / some ID. The name will be manage game. The component will be manage game. And then when we click on this button, it should go to that route. So right here, we have this button. It has an href, but the cool thing about Bootstrap Vue is it actually works as a router link as well. So I can just say to. This should go to the manage game component. Let's do that. That. And the params are an object, and we want the ID to be game._ID. Cool. So if I click here, it goes to the manage game page. Cool. Inside of this component, we should get access to the ID that's in the URL. So like in mounted, if we just log this.route.params.id, that should give us the ID, and then we can query the database for the game with that ID. Yeah, so this is the ID of that game. So let's query the database for it. Let's bring the database in. So we'll do db.games.find with the ID from the route. And we'll say this.game is equal to that. And then on our data, we need a game. Initially, game is just an empty object. And here we can put game.name. And this needs to be async. So now we should see... Oh, find is going to give us back an array. We need to do like, can you do find one? Nope. Let's go to the knee.db documentation. There's finding documents. Find one. Oh, find one. But then I need to actually specify. Okay, that's why I was doing this completely and totally wrong. Like that. So find one document where the ID is that ID. Cool. So that is game 2. So if I go to manage games and then go to game 1, it says game 1. Really, I guess I should have like a back button. I don't know. Game 4, it's game 4. Cool. So the game manage game page is loading the info for that specific game. Cool. I guess we can show like a little p tag below the name. We'll add the description. Cool. And then we need to be able to set the categories for this game. I think that's one thing we're missing whenever we create a game. Like, technically, we should do something like this. Like, when we create a game, we really want an object that has name, description, and then 6 categories on it. Let's say something like this. So we're going to create a game, and then categories needs to be an object. I guess technically it could be an array. Really just needs to be an array of length 6. Yeah, so let's just do this. Array.from length 6. And each category should be an object. So each category, I guess we probably want, maybe we want the index in there? I don't know. And then name right now is empty. And, well, no. Because categories are stored elsewhere. Yeah, categories are stored in here. So really we need an ID, because then we're going to need to query for it. So we'll do this. We'll say ID is empty. Okay. So when you create a game, give it the name and the description, but also give it an array of all of the categories associated with that game. Cool. Cool. Yeah, and so I'm not using Firestore. I'm using this thing called NeDB, which is like a local database. And hello, Anders. Welcome to the stream. What a nice surprise to wake up to. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, so now when you create a game, it'll do that. So here's what I'll do. I'll delete all of the games from that. So now there are no games. And now when I create a new game, it should have categories associated with it. So let's say game 1. This is game 1. Add the game. And when I go to manage, if I look on Vue, yeah, so now it's an array of length 6. Each one has no ID. So now I'm going to add the interaction that allows you to take a category and put it into a slot, basically. I guess. I don't know. I should probably have wireframes or something like that. JT is saying, would it be easier to store the IDs of categories? I think that's what I'm doing. Maybe you said that a little too early. There is a delay. But yeah, that's what I'll do. And then now, let's just do like a repeat of a drop down, basically, like category 1, category 2, category 3, etc. We really want like a form select, yeah. And then this should list all possible categories except for the one that you just chose. Yeah. So I think really, maybe we can do this with cards. Let's do it with cards. Do like a very basic card. with a drop down in each. So now on the manage game page here, let's do a grid. How's the grid work? Is it just a row? Yeah, rows and columns. So we'll do a b dash row, then we'll do a b dash column, and there are 6, so this should take up 2 columns. And it's just going to have a card inside of it. And we want to repeat this column for every category in game.categories. And the key will be the index. It's not going to change, I don't think. And here, let's just show the category.id. Cool. So each one of these little boxes will be a drop-down where I can select a category for the game. Cool. Right now, it will be possible to share categories across games, because what I have here is all of these possible categories. And what you can do is, the way I'm setting it up is, for a given game, you select 6 categories that are going to be in that game. But then a later game could include the same category as an earlier game. One issue right now, though, or not issue, but the way I've set this up is each category only has one set of questions. You could make it a bit more complex and have like multiple 200-point questions or multiple 400, and then anytime you choose that category, it's random. Right now, I'm hard coding it. One set of things. In the future, these are things. And hello, Kaizen, welcome to the stream. But yes, these are all great ideas, none of which I have time for. And then I want to do a select. Do I have to do options like that? Yeah, I hope I can just do a repeat on the options. I know Vue.js has like you bind it to an options array. I don't want to do that. I'm going to do something like this. So inside the card, let's just see what we get. Option A, cool. It looks horrible, but that's fine with me. But really what I want is I need all of the categories in this component so that I can choose those from the dropdown. So let's say like categories is an array here. And when the component is mounted, this .categories will be awaiting db.categories.find all of them. And then these options I want to repeat for every category, possible category. Right now, this will not have a V model. Get rid of that class. Okay, but basically we want to repeat this option for every category in categories. The and actually my model is going to be category.id, because it'll be updating that. Bear with me. This will all make sense very soon. This should be category.name inside the option. The key, let's call this option in cat, just so we don't confuse it with category up here. And then the key will be option.id. And the value will also be option.id. Let's see what happens. Refresh, no errors. Cool. So let's say we choose yes. Look at me. If we full screen this, does it look better though? We can close that for now. Algorithms, famous people, CSS, design patterns, HTML5, C#.net. It works. Cool. So basically for this game, I can now choose what the given categories are for that game. That's fantastic. Of course, you would want to add logic in here that's like you can't choose the same category multiple times, that kind of thing. But the cool thing is because that V model that I set up, now categories, yeah, all of these have IDs. So now I just have to save it back to the database, and all of the category IDs will get saved there. Break snooze detect. Did I click the button accidentally? Sorry. Let's take a quick stretch. I'm sitting in a chair with no back today, and normally I'm standing. It was because I was working here earlier. Don't know. Cool. I think like this is fine. This is fine. I think one thing I probably want to do is a game also has people's names associated with it. Because you're going to have 3 players, and I'm going to want to show each player's name. So I think I really could just have 3 input boxes: player 1 name, player 2 name, player 3 name. And then on the game itself, I can literally just save the name directly to the object. I don't know. This is probably the sloppiest, messiest code you're ever gonna see me write. Name and score. I don't think I'm not gonna associate score just yet. Like, this is information about the game, and then I'm gonna have a separate component that's in charge of like, this is the game being played right now. So I guess technically, the state of the game being played should have the player names, not the game itself. I don't know. Cheers, guys, and thanks for tuning in. Or money earned for correct questions given, etc. Yeah, that will be stored separately, I believe. I think. Yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense because technically you could take this game with this set of categories and then play it again with a different set of players. Let's say we're going to go with that. And because of that, let's do this. Whoa. Let's make this 1 per row. Cool. And here we should show the selected category name. I guess technically, well, we're not saving it back. So we need to save it back to the database. And then I think here I just want to show the category name. Oh, you know what? I don't even need to show this, right? Because we're just showing it in the dropdown. But here I will say, like, category I+1. Wait, is this not I? Oh, there it is. It's centered. I don't want it centered. Can we do a nice little H2? Cool. So category 1, CSS. Category 2, Vue.js. Category 3, React.js. Category 4, HTML5. Cool. I think I'm okay with that. Let's save it back to the database. So we just need like a save button down at the bottom. Is it B button? Yeah, B button. Save. That. How do we make it a primary button? Variant. Really, this section, I want to do like margin bottom 5, just so I can scroll a little bit. Cool. In this button, we'll have a margin top of 3. Like that. Cool. And then when this button is saved, we'll save the game. So then we need a method, save game. This will need to do this. So we're going to say db.games.update. We want to update it where the given ID is the current ID of the game. And we want to set it to be this.game. I think that's it. Let's double check knee.db if that's how you update something in the database. Update? Yeah, query and then update. That should do it. So now, let's watch the console. Category 1, CSS. Category 2, famous people. Category 3, algorithms. Category 4, Vue.js. Category 5, React. Category 6, design patterns. If I click save, no errors. And if I go back and then go to game 1, so all of the categories are saved in the database. Cool. Cool. Yeah, and so someone's asking about my Visual Studio setup. If you go to Coding Garden, there's a repo called VS Code Settings. This one. And it has all of that's the font I use, all the extensions, my theme, colors, all of my editor settings, all that good stuff. So you can check that out. We'll share it there. Cool. My back hurts. I am tired. I'm not thinking straight, but we're gonna code this thing because we gotta use it tomorrow. Yeah, I don't even have a checklist. What's wrong with me? Okay, so we have a game. We have all the categories. Now we want to be able to like start a game, and then we have the admin interface and the actual gameplay. Right? Cool. So I think what I want is like a little button right here that's like it's almost like start game or launch game. Yeah, let's create like a launch game button, and that is going to insert it into a separate collection of like ongoing games. Yeah, let's do that. So I want to give this a margin bottom of 5. Oh. Three, 2. Cool. So click launch game. There's no function yet. That will basically it'll open a new window and it will redirect to the page where you can manage the in progress game. I think that's what we'll do. And then on the home page, I'll have one more card that's like in progress games, and that will give you a list of all the in progress games. But for now, this is how you launch a game. Manage, launch game. Cool. So we need this launch game function in our methods. And really, we need a new collection in our database, because right now our database has categories, games, and then we're going to need like an in progress game, like in progress collection. Let's call it games in progress. And let's do it dash cased, games in dash progress.db. And really, so essentially each data store is like you can think of it like a Mongo collection. And then this file is just exporting an object that has all three of those collections, and it's like saying like db.some collection name. Cool. And presumably it will launch the game board. So now we need a game manager, or are you saying that's what we should call the data store, like the collections? Really, it's a collection of games in progress. I don't know. What did you mean, JT? You retracted your message, but oh well. So that's where those will get stored, and I think what we want to do is when we launch a game, we're going to insert a game into the games in progress that has all of this info, which is going to be what are the category names. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. What are the category names? And I think okay, I'm justifying my choices to code it this way, because I think it makes sense, because you could have games that are like the name of the game is like front end focused or back end focused or designer focused, and that's the name of the game, and then that given game only has categories associated with it, and then when you launch it, that's an in progress version of that state of the game, but you could play it multiple times with different people if you wanted to. I like this. I'm justifying my like in progress decisions. Okay, and so we need to create an in progress game. It's gonna be an object. Let's just say like start time. That will be date.now. We'll have players. I guess this could be an array of player 0, 1. Player 0 has a name that's initially empty. So we have the start time, we have the 3 players associated with the game, so each player is going to have a score that's initially 0. Really, this creation here, I might want to do this in a separate file, like maybe that's what JT meant by game manager. Cool. Isaac is asking, will you have more than one game running at once? Potentially. I don't know why I would, but it might be possible to like pause a game. Yeah, I mean, the calling it games in progress makes it seem like there may be multiple happening, but this is local. There was only ever going to be like one game playing. I'm calling it that because, I mean, maybe we don't call it games in progress. Like, we're still going to do it this way, but maybe we come up with a better name. Like, this is played games. Like, these are games that have scores and names, and they potentially could be in progress. Let's call it that. Played games. I like that. Okay. Cool. And I mean, really, do we need a start time? No, maybe we say like in progress is true because it's like it's just starting. Cool. And yeah, JT is saying you'll need more complex logic to handle game states. I mean, I think this is kind of going to be my game state. Like you have the players, whether or not it's in progress. We're gonna need all of these categories, like the game info itself, which has the array of category IDs. Yeah, so we need like categories. That's gonna be this.game.categories. Because that is an array of all the category IDs. Anything else? Oh, like an actual game state attribute. So like, just like state, and this will have stuff associated with it, like, I mean, I'm thinking that like we're gonna have all the questions and answers in here too, and each question and answer will have like whether or not it's been used, and then the state of the game will be like waiting for person to buzz in, and then person has buzzed in, counting down, something like that. I think we'll handle that elsewhere though. Really, I think this is the info that needs to be in the DB. The players and then the categories associated with it. And then other information, I don't know. We'll kind of come across it as we get to it. Hello, Abalash. Welcome to the stream. Isaac is mentioning, yeah, so the games did come in a weird order. Yeah. Let's create a start time. Just because we want to know, like, yeah, if we have multiple games in progress, we want to know which one is the latest one that we're playing. Okay, I think this is good. And then now we can do db.played games. We're going to insert this new game. Quick stretch. Whew. Yeah, played games. We'll insert the new game, and then we need to redirect to the in-progress game route, which we'll have to create, and that view will launch a new window, which is like the game being played at this time. Okay. I'm curious if there's like an insert one. Because the only thing about inserting is it returns an array. Yeah, I'll just have to do this. Created, it's going to be that. And then we need to redirect to the in-progress game for the game that just got created. So we'll do something like this.router.push. We want to go to the play game route. We'll have params, and the ID will be created._ID. Cool. And so we will have a play game route. With some ID. The name is play game. The component is play game. play game. And we need a new view. We'll call this play game.view. Scaffold it. Nice little H1. Play game. And let's see what happens. Or should we code it? I don't know. Manage games. Manage the game. Launch the game. Oh no. Symbol.iterator is not a function. What? What's this complaining about? Views/play game. Okay. But in here, insert is not returning what I expected. This is specifically need.db promises. Let's see what that's about. Hello, Ed. Welcome to the stream. And hello, Jonathan. Been wanting to catch you live for the longest time. Finally. You chose the weirdest time because I'm tired. I'm just coding. This thing needs to get done before tomorrow. Okay, so insert your doc. I think I might have to do something like return inserted or something like that. Callback, so this is the callback version, but the promises version should do the same. Hello, Krisu, welcome. Good morning from Germany. It is almost 11 p.m. here in Denver, Colorado. Just see right quick. Yeah, let's just see what's happening. So I thought this would return the created thing. Let's comment this out for now. Let's just log created, like what got created. So if we now click launch game, we get an object. It has an ID. That technically works. We've got all our categories. We've got our empty players. Weird. But if this is destructuring. Oh, no. That's why. Because I only inserted one, it literally gave me back an object, so I don't need to destructure it. That's why. Okay. So now I should be able to do that. Launch game, and now it's on the play game screen. Cool. All right, so now on the play game page, we can get the played game from the database to get all of its categories. We'll list those. This is, it's happening. It's happening. Okay. We're going to import the DB from @/DB. When this thing is mounted, we're going to do this dot, no, we're just going to do db dot played games dot find. Yeah, I think I want to find by ID. Right, so find where ID is this dot route dot params dot ID. We'll await this, make this an async function, and say this dot, we'll just say it's game. So this dot game will be that. Okay. And I think this is where I probably want to bring in the Vuex store, because we can keep track of all of the state of the current game, like the timers, what categories are left, that kind of stuff. And then the separate window can access that same store and just display relevant info. Cool. Mata is asking, is this an Electron app with Vue? Yes, it is. And JT is asking, do I want to prevent game insertion if other games are in progress? No. No, I don't. we could potentially in the future, but I think, yeah, I don't know. Like, because this is a desktop app, you're only going to be able to play one game at a time. But I don't know, maybe, like, if I'm playing this with students, like, in a classroom, maybe the game, like, we have to cut it short and not finish it. And maybe I play with another class, and then we come back to another game later. I don't know. I think multiple games is fine. Okay, so we need some data. We'll say this.game is equal to, game starts off as an empty object. When it's mounted, we get it from the DB. And then here, let's just show game array. .id. There we go. We want to do find one. Cool. So this is the currently in progress game. And now we can, let's get access to the, we'll show the categories, we'll show, like, really we want to show essentially show the game board here. We're going to show the Jeopardy game board, and we'll just have the logic, like, when you click a question, show it on the other screen, like that kind of thing. Okay, I think we're on the way. Yes, JT, everything in this app is going to be confusing, mainly because I'm writing, like, I did everything wrong. Like, normally I have a checklist, right? Like, I go through and, like, I need this, I need this, I need this. Tonight, it would probably help to do that. I don't know. Okay, let's get some state going in the Vuex store. I think I already have the Vuex store set up. Yeah, it's a super basic empty store. And I think the Vuex store is just going to store the currently in progress game. And I'm just trying to think, though, like, should I code it first with all of my state in here and then extract it out to be able to open that new window? Because technically what I could do is, like, we could code the gameplay right here, and we technically don't need a separate window, because the separate window is just a view into the same data, but you won't be able to see the answer like I will, or you won't be able to click on things to launch a question like I will. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to code this, and then I'll refactor the state out when we open a separate window. Yeah, Wally, where's the README? Isaac says, you see what hardware does to people. Yeah. And 0x Couch is asking, what are all the apps in my menu bar? I'm using an app called iStat Menus, so it shows me all of, like, my temperature and hard drive status and stuff like that. This is an app called Keeping You Awake. It prevents the screen from going to sleep. This is Alfred. This is Flux. This is a mouse sharing app. That's about it. Okay, let's get all the categories. Yeah, so I want to get these IDs. So let's say categories is going to be an array. And after we get back the game, then we can do, we'll say, like, category IDs is going to be this.game.categories .map. We'll just grab the ID of every category. So that should just be an array of all the category IDs, because then I want to query the database for all categories with those given IDs. Is not in camel case. Okay. Yeah, so now we get back an array of IDs, and now I can query the categories database for all of those categories. So we'll do like this dot categories is db dot categories dot find, and we want to do ID in that array. Quick stretch. So ID, this will be an object. We'll say in category IDs. And then, well, let's just do this really quick. We'll say categories equals that, and then let's just log categories. Cool. So now, so we have these category IDs, then we query the database and actually get back the full category. So it has a name, it has an array of all the answers with point value and question and answer. Cool. So now we can just set that on this dot categories. I guess I'm slightly worried about having an inconsistent order every time. Guess it doesn't really matter. They'll just be listed in different places, but they'll still be in the right category. Okay. And then I guess probably what I want is across the bottom, I want a place for all three players. So I want player 1 input box for their name, player 2, player 3, and the score for each one. Okay. So let's do this. We'll have a section. I kind of want to not have this in a container. Like if I look in my app.vue, yeah, everything is in this container. Let's see what happens if I put it there. I think that's kind of what I want. Mainly, I'll show you why. Because I want the board to extend the full length, or like the full width of the window. So let's do this. We have our parent section. We're gonna have a section. This will be like class of board. And then we'll have a section down here. This will have a class of players. Because I want just like player names and scores across the bottom and the board here. In the board, I want to repeat each category. We'll do it as a section. We'll do like v4 category in categories. The key is going to be category.id. And for now, let's just do like an h3 that has the category.name. Cool. So these are our categories. And hello, Suvin, Mr. Full Stack Developer. Welcome to the stream. So we have all the categories listed for the currently played game. Let's work on styling. So let's say our board, kind of want to do a CSS grid. We could just do one row with 6 columns. So let's do display grid template, or like grid column, grid template columns, a space separated track list, the line names and track. So we want to repeat 1 6 times. What's happening? So we have board. This is not right. I gotta look up CSS Grid. I don't know it by heart. V4 Vendetta. Okay, grid template columns has a track size. Yeah, I mean, I think that this is what I wanted to do. Like that. And that works. Cool. Let's say a category. So this section, let's give this a class of category. Say outline 1 pixel solid black. Cool. The board needs to have a height of 100%. Well, actually, we need to do like 80% because the players are going to be 20%. However, the parent doesn't have any height. Let's see. Yeah. We got to go all the way to the top. So our app.view, really, we need to say body has a width of 100 view width and a height of 100 view height. Okay. And then div ID app takes up 100%. And height takes up 100%. Okay, so we've got body, that, and then the parent section, which is, let's call this game. This is going to take up 100% width and height. Cool. There is a scroll there because of the nav bar. But yeah. My repeat was backwards. Oh. So I should be able to do repeat 6 1 fraction. Cool. Cool. I think what I want though is like a global state to say whenever you're on the game view, technically we want to hide this nav bar. I don't know. You know what I'm gonna do? For now, I'm just gonna hide it. Cool. Yeah, so there's no scroll because that takes up 80% and then we have 20% on the bottom. One thing I'm gonna do is make these DevTools dark. How do I do that? Settings, dark. Close and reopen. Nice. Cool. Okay, that's great. And then basically everything in the game component needs to be text-align center. Yeah. That's great. And then I guess we could do players as a 3-column grid, 1 column for each player. So let's do a section, give it a class of player, and we need to repeat in game.players. Player should be 3 players. And we're going to have a, do we have keys? We should have, we can use the index because the order doesn't change. The index, and then right now we'll just show I. 0, 1, 2, cool. Hello, Meyer, welcome to the stream. Yeah, that's a good point, JT. Like, the nav bar, if I don't have it, there's no way to get back. I'll fix that eventually, maybe. Okay, let's give players, we'll make it a grid. And grid template columns is going to be 3. Nice. Does this really need to be 80%? I don't think so. Let's make the board 90%. Yeah, and then we'll have player names and scores down at the bottom. Okay, so now inside of a category, we want to repeat over the answers. So yeah, we have a section for the category. We have an H3 for the category name. And then we have, we'll have a section for each of the point values. So it's an answer, answer in answers. The key here should be answer.score because that doesn't change. And then right here, we're just going to show answer.score. This needs to be category.answers. Let's look at our dev tool, or our state. So a given category has answers. Oh, answers is an object, that's why. And there's value. Cool. And so now we need to just split those up. And basically a category could be a grid that has one column with 6 rows. Yeah, so a category has the outline there. We'll give it a display of grid, and grid template rows. We'll just repeat 6 like that. Wow, that's pretty cool. Let's give each answer an outline. That cool. And then each answer could just be a flex box that like centers its value score. Justify content center. Align items center. Cool. That looks like a Jeopardy board. Well, that's interesting. Wally's asking, why am I not just making a single grid instead of nested grids? Because the way my data is laid out. I feel like it'd be a bit convoluted because the way my data is laid out, I have an array of categories, and then each category has an array of answers. So technically, I could do like one parent grid, but it would be tricky, I feel, to specifically pick out each thing to put it in the grid. This works. Yeah, and JT's mentioning it's easier to do it with nested loops. I think that's the way I'm thinking. Like, by loops we mean these repeats over like with v4. So it works. Cool. So we've got a game board. I think we probably need a bit more info. Let's take a quick stretch. I'm curious. Oh, Wally's saying use template tags on inner data. Interesting. And actually, I haven't pushed this to GitHub yet. Should I? I don't know. The code's really ugly. I'm very curious. I'm looking at the screen preview. Okay. It just looked like you couldn't see this top line, but you can. Technically, this H3 here should be, let's make this a section and give it a class of like category title. We'll do display flex. Justify content center. So basically, both category title and answer need to have that, but only answer needs to have an outline. Cool. So what am I thinking? I need some sort of like start timer or something like that. Like, so let's do this. Let's say this only takes up 60%. Because we'll have the smaller board there, and then we'll have the 3 players here. But then I need more space down here because basically I want to see like whose turn is it to pick the score and category. Yeah. Oh, well, actually, Wally's mentioning don't want to push till after the conference because it has answers. The answers are not in the GitHub in the code itself. They're just stored locally in the database here. So if I push the code up, there'll be no data associated with it. Yeah, let's get the styling going. Let's do it. Okay, background for the game. We're gonna just do it very crude. So background here is blue. Boom. And like the color, so the category titles their color will be white. And then the answers color will be yellow. Cool. We can get some other fonts going as well. Let's just make everything have a much larger font size. I don't know. How do I reset the zoom? Actual size. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's fine. You're like 1.5 M. Cool. We'll make the... Actually, do I have the impact font? Yeah, look at that. And really, this is like answer value. And font weight is bold. And so let's put this in like a span with a class of value. And then this will have a font size size of like 3 M's. Boom! That's Jeopardy. Cool. And then the category title will have a font size of just like 2M. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so down here, I actually wanted to be able to have text boxes for each of the users' names. So let's do player has an outline of 1 pixel solid black. Yeah, like that. And let's give it a height of 20%. Is that too much? Wait, oh. Players needs a height of 20%. That is too much. Let's do 10%. And so I think I'll do like an input box across here where you can type the person's name and that will actually save it. And then below will be the score. Yeah, and JT is mentioning you can style the player's name for whoever is active, definitely. So like it's red or something if that's the current player. So on any given player, I need an input. Is there like a B input? Like that? I might copy it from the other one. Wow. Cool. And its model will be on player.name. So if we look at the view data, so there are players. If I just type in like CJ, yeah, so it saves. Bob. Jerry. Cool. I guess I could text align center those. Cool. Okay. Then we need scores here. Let's see what the scores look like on a real Jeopardy board. Or like a Jeopardy game. Because it's not on the board, it's like on the player's podium. Do, 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 do. I mean, I guess it's just like white color. Thicker lines between rows and columns. You mean on the board itself? Let's compare. I'm not too worried about styling right now. Yeah, it is pretty thick. So let's say there's like 3 pixels. Yeah. We'll even deeper. 4 pixels. Cool. Yeah, so white impact font, that works for me. So we have the input, and then right below it, we'll just have like an H3 with the player's score. And player H3 is going to be this. Cool. That seems to work. We can set the I totally reuse this though, so let's do this. So .answer.value has a color of yellow. And then answer value and player H3 has that style, so it's reused. And then this outline, where is it? Here should also be 4 pixels. Cool. It's like not exactly right there. Oh well. Handwritten font for the names, more realistic. Well, the idea is I want to be able to go in and like change the name, because what everyone sees will have the names on it as well. I don't really want like an edit form. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, now we need some actual gameplay. So we think game starts and it's like player's choice. So if we think about our state here, say like current player should be, I guess, like index 0. So that should say like this is the current player. And the current player will have like an outline of red or something like that. And whoever is highlighted will be the person that needs to select a category. Hello, Aaron. Welcome to the stream. Finally caught me live. I already mentioned it. This is a weird stream. I'm tired. I have to finish this app. I'm not coding very well, but welcome. So we have a current player. Let's say we're going to bind a class to this player. So let's say class will be bound. The class we want is current player, and we want to bind it if current player is equal to I. And then our current player class will just give this a red outline. Cool. So player 1 starts off as the current player. Cool. Now it's time to buzz in. Oh, did that app might have died. Yeah. So those are the buttons that I built earlier, but here's the idea. So it's So player 1 says algorithms for 200. So I would click this. That should launch the what do you call it? It should show the answer, right? The answer should pop up on the screen, and they will have, let's say, 10 seconds to give the question. But not yet. So the answer will pop up. I'll read it off, and then it's time for people to buzz in. Whoever buzzes in will be selected as the current player, and then they have a chance to answer. Yeah. Okay. But I basically want like down here at the bottom. This is like my admin view, so I want to be able to see like basically when I click a specific what do you call it, point value. I think what I want is here it will like highlight red because that's the currently one selected, and then down at the bottom I'll see the answer and the question. Yeah, I think let's do that. So when I click a value, set that as the current answer. So let's say like current answer is null. And then when I click one, it'll set it to be the current answer. So here, so on this whole section here, anywhere I click in there should set the current answer. Set current answer with answer. Then we need a method. Set current answer, that takes in the answer. And really, I only want to set a current answer if current answer is null. So that will prevent me from like accidentally clicking one while there's an ongoing question. So we'll say if this dot current answer is not a thing, then this dot current answer is equal to the answer that you clicked on. Cool. And so below that, we'll have a section for the current answer. I accidentally typed atlic. Yes, I did. Let's take a quick stretch. My grid borders look weird. Looks like half of the borders below the titles are missing. Are they? Let's see. Oh, yeah. Why is that? Let's call this like current status. I don't know, but I don't feel like fixing it right now. I have borders on, oh, it's because I have, yeah, the answer has a border and that one has a border, so they overlap somehow. Yeah, that's a good point, Isaac. Like, I should, maybe I have it so that I have to hover to see the answer. No, it's not displayed automatically. But I like what you're saying. Like, it's basically so I make sure that I read off the correct thing. Okay, so we'll have current status. Let's do a paragraph tag where we show. Let's just so like only show this if current answer is a thing. Here we'll show current answer dot answer, and then we'll have another one with current answer dot question. Current status right now we'll just have a color of white. Yeah, let's see what happens. So click one. Nothing happens. Set current answer. That's getting called. This dot current answer is null. Cool. Let's look at our data. Oh no! Current answer is not defined on the instance but referenced during render. Because I accidentally renamed it. Okay, let's look at our view data. Okay, when I click one, okay, it is setting current answer. Oh, because answer and question are empty. Ha! Do I have any for... None of these have anything. Oh, I forgot to fill them in. Okay, here's what we'll do. Let's show the nav bar again. And we'll show the container. Cool. That actually doesn't look that bad. We want to manage answers and at least add some. I think what did we have on there? That game has. Actually, if we just change this, I have to launch a new game, but let's change this to JavaScript because there are some examples on there. Okay, there we go. Because when I click JavaScript, I'm seeing the question and the answer. Isn't that the... Oh, you guys are silly. Okay. So now that we have a category that actually has questions and answers, the current question and answer is popping up. That's awesome. Let's just do a nice little 2-column layout on the play game. So current status, we'll make that a grid with 2 columns. Grid, template, columns. It's actually more, I feel like it's more characters to type this than it is to type FR twice, one FR twice. Cool. And then we'll do, let's actually just make this a section. Make this a section. And we'll give this a class of answer. And this a class of current question. And then in our CSS, current answer and current question will be flexed like that's not doing anything. Oh, we actually need to give the parent some height, I guess. 10%? Let's see. Oh, it is centered. Cool. Cool. Rodrigo is asking, is this game online multiplayer? No, it's not. So in a stream earlier, I streamed for 4 hours earlier. I built this. So I literally soldered all the wires and drilled holes in the containers. But these are the buttons that we're going to be using. So contestants will actually have to buzz in by pressing the button, and that's what I'm coding now. Okay, let's give this a bigger font. Cool. Yeah, and I guess we'll give each of these an outline as well. It's so ugly. I guess we'll give it a height of 20%. Yeah. And I think like that pretty much leaves enough room to do like timers down here at the bottom. Section. Yes. Cool. So, okay, here's what happens. It's currently this player's turn. They say JavaScript for 200. I click this. That sets the current answer, and then they have 10 seconds to say the question. So now we need some sort of like countdown timer. Yeah, so we need a countdown timer for after they've selected it. Well, actually, no. Not even. Well, no. When the game first starts, they're going to be able to say JavaScript for 200. Then I read off the answer, and after I'm done reading the answer, everyone has a chance to buzz in. So what I need a button so that I can start the timer for waiting for people to buzz in, right? Because I'm going to, like, app loads, first player to go, JavaScript for 200. A way to voluntarily enforce stricter parsing and error handling on your JavaScript code at runtime. And then everyone has, let's say, 10 seconds to buzz in. But before they can start to buzz in, I need to click a button that says, like, go, allow people to buzz in. Because I don't want them to buzz in while I'm reading the question. Okay. Yeah. I'm tired. I honestly just want to wake up at like 3 a.m. and just code this whole thing. I'm gonna code as much as I can. I think I'll get like a working game interaction, but I'm telling you right now, I'm tired. Okay. So I need a button that says like start, not start game, like enable buzzers. Enable buzzers. let's put that above current status. So we'll create a section. Class will be controls. And then I think I have a bootstrap. Yeah, we'll do a B button. We'll say enable buzzers. Really, I don't know if I want to put this in controls. Really, this button should kind of be inside of the current answer. Like right here, yeah. Let's give these a flex direction of column, though. Yeah, and maybe the button shows up on top. And variant is danger, so it's a red button. Yeah, so JavaScript for 200. A way to voluntarily enforce stricter parsing and error handling on your JavaScript code at runtime. Then I click the button, and then everyone has 10 seconds to buzz in. Whoever buzzes in first gives their answer. We're on the way. Yeah, this will definitely have sound effects. I don't know if I'm going to have time to add it. Yeah, these buttons did have LEDs, but I took them out because I didn't have enough wire to power them or run to them to power them. And also the controller that the USB controller that I'm using doesn't have LED power out. Yeah. Okay, so enable buzzers, that should enable like a 10-second countdown timer. So we'll have something like waiting for buzz in. And this is going to be, initially it's false, but when they buzz in, this will be set to, no, when I click the button, it'll set to true. So this button, enable buzzers, needs a click on it. And really, this is essentially starting one round of answering a question, like one round of waiting for button presses. So let's call this like start answer. Yeah, I think I like that. So we'll have a method called start answer. This is going to set waiting for buzz in to true. And then what do I call this start answer? Let's say, I don't know, like current answer info. Because really, I want multiple things associated with the current answer. Really, I want something like start. Let me think through this. So basically, like, I want to say start is like right now, date.now. Because then I'll have maybe a function running constantly comparing with the start to see if we're 10 seconds in the future. Because I don't know if I want to do like a set timeout or like a set interval. Yeah. I'm not going to try to power the LEDs. I'm not going to do that. Okay. Is that complaining about... What? Oh, that. Okay. It started like we just we started it, and now we're waiting for someone to buzz in. And so really we need to call a function constantly to see if we've reached that 10-second mark. If we've reached 10 seconds, then nobody gets the points because nobody buzzed in. But yeah, otherwise we need to start listening for button polling. So start is now, and I guess we could set the end to date.now plus 10 seconds. Yeah, so JT is mentioning a game state would be useful rather than using a bunch of different flags. I think, like, yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to do here with this object. So, like, game state here is, like, buzzing in or current end time. I'm trying to justify in my mind though. So like, should I use a set interval and like every second say 1 second minus, or should I like call a function constantly that's just checking to see if you're past the end time? I think ultimately I want to be able to show like a countdown here, like 10, 9, 8, 7, while we're waiting for the buzz in. I think I'll just do a set interval. Let's do a set interval. Yeah, so this something like this dot. Yeah, and Alka saying request animation frame. Like that's what I was thinking, because we could call it multiple times and update the end time. Let's think this through. So when we start, we need to know when we should no longer allow them to buzz in. What else do we need to know? We need to know like who has buzzed in already. And that's initially an empty array because everyone is allowed to buzz in. And then we need to start listening for the button presses. Like right here. I can't think straight. I've been doing this way too long. I really should take a longer break. I've been sitting down for 2 hours. Honestly, though, I feel like if I wasn't streaming right now, I would just be coding this thing because I don't have to use, I don't have to talk about everything out loud. I could just like try multiple things without justifying anything. Oh, interesting. Request animation frame gives performance.now as the argument to the callback. Whoa, never heard of that. The callback has one single argument, a DOM high-resolution timestamp, which indicates the current time for when request animation frame starts to fire callbacks. So it gets this, yeah, it gets the timestamp. Okay. Oliver says you could also do that while streaming, but that's like not what I do. I have to explain everything. I feel like if I just try a bunch of things, like nobody's gonna watch, you know, like. And right now I'm not standing. No, I am. I'm sitting. I mean, I guess people stream like that. They literally just code and like don't talk out loud. I don't know. I'm conflicted. I built this cool thing today. I'm proud of that. I don't know. Okay. Let's code the thing. We need something like poll buttons. We'll do something like request animation frame with poll buttons. This.poll buttons. Actually, is that going to bind it correctly? It should. I think it should. Oliver's saying, use the title unchill stream and go crazy. It's more of like a silent stream? I don't know. Yeah, and I think, okay, so let's say this. Current info is null. And then whenever we start an answer, we create an object, set it equal to that. And this is going to give us the timestamp. Really, I mean, I want to do like seconds left or something, but technically we could calculate that. Okay. No, I want it. So, seconds left is 10. Okay. And then here, we're going to get access to the buttons. We'll need to calculate the seconds left. Hard code it for now. And let's just log the timestamp. And then at the end of this, we'll call request animation frame again if a button was not pressed. Now let's just get access to the button. So we're going to use this Gamepad API. I think there's something about navigator.getGamepads. Let's see if this will work. So here, we want to grab the first gamepad. And then we're just going to log gamepad.buttons. Let's just see what happens. So this start answer should fire off whenever I click the enable buzzers button. Okay. So there's that. I'm going to hold down a button. Navigator.getGamepads is not a function. Isn't it lowercase navigator? Cannot read property buttons of null. I think one caveat of this is you actually do have to listen for gamepad connected, even if you're not using that function. Let's do it. So like in the mounted function, we'll listen for gamepad connected. Let's just log. Maybe. Okay, we have a gamepad. Okay, so we have that. Hold, press. Okay. So we have that the first button was pressed. That's cool. And we have the current timestamp. So we can call this thing again. But basically, we just need to check if a button was pressed. Yeah, filter pressed is true. So really, I want to say like button will be gamepad.buttons filter. I want any button where b.pressed is true. Say buttons. And if buttons.length is equal to 1, meaning only one person buzzed in, and that's basically how I'm going to handle if 2 people hit the button at the exact same time. Yeah, and apparently Vue auto binds, which is pretty nice. But yeah, so basically I'm just going to check if one button was pressed, then so let's say buzzed in player. But actually, I need to know which button was pressed, because this actually isn't giving me that info. So let's do this. We're going to map it. We're going to get the button. But we need to return an object with pressed, which will be b.pressed. But we also need the index, because 0 is player 1, 1 is player 2, 2 is player 3. So this pressed. This lets us keep track of the index. Buzzed in player is null. And if the button length is 0, then buzzed in player is going to be buttons at 0 dot index. And for now, let's just call this function over and over again. Okay. So we enable the buzzers. Cannot read property buttons of null. Oh. Okay, now it should work. We enable the buzzers. Null, 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 null. If 2 are pressed, nothing. But if 1 is pressed, then we can see that it was logged. But basically what we need to do is if a player was buzzed in, then we'll do something. Otherwise, we'll call this function again. Because once the player was buzzed in, we don't need to call this function anymore. I guess technically we don't need that. But we do need to we need to calculate the number of seconds left. I guess I don't need to. Yeah. So we have the buzzed in player there. Okay, so when they buzz in, it should stop calling this function. Now we just need to calculate the number of seconds left. So this is going to be current info.end minus timestamp divided by 1,000. And we'll do math.floor of that. And we'll store the seconds left. Oh, we are storing the seconds left. Okay. Okay. This technically means that if multiple people buzz in at the same time, it's whoever releases last would win. Actually, it's whoever. If you just hold your button down. Yeah, I gotta fix that logic. Because if you just hold your button down, if somebody else releases, then you are the one that buzzed in. And I want it to be. You have to actually press it. So. I may need to create some other thing, like an event emitter that emits like when a specific button was pressed. I don't know. However, now that we have the seconds left, we should be able to show it. So let's create some info down here. For now, we'll just have like an H1 with, is it seconds left or it's seconds left? Yeah, and Oliver's mentioning you could do a length greater than equal to and then choose one. I think that the issue is because we have to poll, there's no way of telling which button was pressed first. I guess you could choose at random. That may be the way we do it. But here we go. So if I enable the buzzers, that's not right. What is this? We just got seconds left as this gigantic number. Timestamp is the... let's log it. I don't know, is timestamp like a date.now or not? No. Wait, is that's the number of milliseconds passed since the last time it was called? Ah. This needs to be performance.now because it's when the page was opened. Okay. I guess technically this is more precise than using date.now. Oh. So we're taking... Oh, I should not be updating end every time. That's why. It should stay what it was whenever we started the answer. That's why. Okay, so started off, seconds left is 10, and then, yeah, that should do it. Okay. Okay. I guess, do I need to divide by a larger number? shouldn't be setting the end in poll buttons. That was my plan, because poll buttons is what we're using for request animation frame. Like, this is the function that gets called where we check what buttons are pressed on the gamepad. And we also do the logic that checks how much time is left. And if no buttons were pressed, it keeps polling. Somehow this math is off, though. Let's just do this. How do I get seconds? Weird. I'm overwriting it, but I'm setting it equal to but I am using the previous value. Oh, you know what? I may have to use next tick or something like that. Well, no. Really, this is the thing. The reason I am overwriting it is because I need to set the values, but here's what I could do. Initialize it like this, and then just overwrite each individual property. So seconds left equals 10. End equals performance.now plus 10,000. And overwrite buzzed in. And then here, seconds left equals seconds. Oh. No, that's fine. That's fine. But this should be seconds left. You know what? No, we're going to keep it like that. We don't overwrite end. It can stay what it is. And right now we don't overwrite buzzed in. Missing trailing comma? What? Okay, let's try again. Oh, the UI is not using seconds underscore left. There we go. Okay. Hello, Jimmy. Welcome to the stream. Whew, I'm tired. I'm so tired. Why is that number so big? Because we're doing... the end time. Oh, well, is it in milliseconds? Should this just be 10? I think that's why 10,000 seconds. I really don't know. It is milliseconds, yeah, 10 times 1,000. So this is number of milliseconds since the page loaded. Wait. Yeah. Okay. And we're taking the current time and adding 10 seconds to it, putting that on end. And then in here, we're saying take the current end time, which is 10 seconds from now, and subtract the current timestamp, which is performance.now, and divide by 1,000, which should give you the number of seconds left. Okay. Just because I'm going to throw in performance.now right there, but don't know why that would be the case. Maybe it behaves differently in Electron. I don't know why it would. Yeah, weird. So I was using the timestamp value, and for some reason it gave me a much larger number. Cool. This worked, but I'm very curious why, because what is timestamp? Which indicates the current time, the time returned from performance. So weird. Like, for whatever reason, this value right here was not the right value. I don't know why. Guess we'll just use performance.now. Yeah. Cool. And congrats, Anders. Filled in the great code vibe here. Just completed a code kata in the first try. That's awesome. Okay, this is cool. Let's style it because you cannot see this. What is this thing called? We're calling this controls. Color is white. Font weight, we'll make it bold. Font size 2M. Really? Let's make it just like this. Cool. So here we'll say time left. Okay. So we click a thing. We enable the buzzers. Then 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. But if we enable the buzzers again and somebody buzzes in, then 1 buzzed in. And that actually stops the timer. But technically, once someone buzzes in, that should reset the timer. Yeah, so when someone buzzes in, the current player gets set to the person that buzzed in. Okay, so And we'll fix this logic later. Right now, there's some issues, like if multiple people have the button pressed. But if there is a buzzed-in player, then we need to set the current player to that index. So we'll say this dot current player is equal to that, and that should automatically highlight the one that buzzed in. And then we need to reset. Well, like we probably need another timer. I don't know if we use another function for this. And really, let's do 11 seconds because it happens like instantly. Okay, so if someone buzzes in, it's gonna highlight the one that buzzed in, and the timer will stop. Then we need another timer. Let's just see what happens here. Yeah. Okay. So, a way to voluntarily enforce stricter parsing and error handling on your JavaScript code at runtime. Go. And then player 3 buzzes in. Boom! It highlights it. And they will then have 10 seconds to say what is use strict. If they don't, their time runs out, and then the other two have the option to buzz in. So I think also what we should do is here in buzzed in, we should push that player in, so that way they can't buzz in again if they get it wrong. Cool. Isn't it like 2 a.m. there? No, it's midnight and 23 minutes. I might end the stream pretty soon, actually. I've been streaming for 2.5 hours. Yeah, I'm in Denver, so it's just midnight. I used to be in New York City, so technically there it's like almost 2:30. One thing I really like to do, this is my preferred method of procrastination. I go to sleep and then wake up at like 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. and finish the thing. Technically, I don't have to be at the place till 8 a.m. tomorrow, so plenty of time. Plenty of time. Okay, so that pushes them into buzzed in. It says they buzz in, they get highlighted, and then we need to start a new timer. I think what I want to do is I want to separate out my countdown function and my poll buttons function. Let's do this. Countdown. And really, this happens there. And this logic goes into my countdown function. Okay. Okay. So now we're going to start counting down. Count down. If the seconds left is 0, then time is up. We're going to call countdown again. I think in here we can call buzzed in. So really, I think what I need to do is I need to set current player to null whenever we start the answer, because then, well, no, because if no one gets it right, you need to keep track of that. I really just need to know if someone buzzed in. I think we'll do this. So buzzed in are all the people that buzz in. Current buzz in will be null. And then here we'll say this dot current answer info dot current buzz in equals this dot current player. Because what I want to do is now in my countdown function, I can also pull for the buttons. And if someone has buzzed in, then I can stop counting down. Oh, or not. No, what? Not what? No. Really, can I do 2 separate request animation frames? Is that a thing? I don't think I need current buzz in anymore. Because when a player buzzes in, we basically just need to reset the timer. But we're no longer listening for buttons. Yeah. I think I got it. So when you start the answer, I don't know if this is something you should do or not. Okay, so Alkasang can have as many as you want, but basically I have 2 different functions that are requesting the next animation frame. The countdown function and the pull buttons function. So we'll be counting down, but we'll also be waiting for someone to buzz in. Great. When someone buzzes in, technically we want to reset our seconds left to like 11, and that way the countdown will start back at 10. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So technically we need to do this. So when someone buzzes in, we will reset the timer, and I guess technically we should be counting down. Yeah, because otherwise it'll stop. I think, yeah. Makes sense. Okay. So 10, 9, 8, 7. Player 2 buzzes in. 9, 8, 7. It's not listening for button presses anymore. And then the time is up. Wow. Okay, so I now need a button that will either say, yes, that player got it correct, or no, they did not. And if they did not, then the other 2 players have a chance to buzz in. Okay. I need to go to bed. Yeah, I think I'm getting there. I feel like the logic is there's just so much. There's like all kinds of stuff happening. One thing I need to do is take all of this state and extract it out into Vuex, because ultimately, like, this is going to be like the admin view where like I see this on my screen because I'm running the game, but then I have a separate view that is just the game board itself, and it's not. You probably will see time left and like names and scores, but you won't be able to edit the names, and you won't see the actual question there. Yeah, so Wally is asking, are you going to have a timer after they buzz in for them to answer? That is what I just figured out. Okay, freaked out for a second. I thought the button wasn't working, but what I just figured out was, okay, someone chooses the question. I read it out loud. A way to voluntarily enforce stricter parsing and error handling in your JavaScript code at runtime. I enable the buzzers. Now everyone has 10 seconds to buzz in. If this person buzzes in, watch the timer. The timer goes back to 10, and that person has 10 seconds to give the correct question. What is banana? That's wrong. So now I have to say that was wrong. And then the other two would get a chance to buzz in. So that's where we're at now. But yes, this is now being reset and counting down for when a player buzzes in. And no worries. Yeah. I guess technically we can fix this styling. Like, actually, let's see what's happening here. Yeah, we'll set that to 25. Okay, if we look at how real Jeopardy works, I don't, yeah. Real Cygnus is saying lower the time left. What do you mean? I mean, technically is... So, like, we choose a question. I read it, I enable the buzzers, then, like, player 2 chimes in. They then have 10 seconds. No one else can buzz in at this time while they have 10 seconds. If their time runs out, actually, they lose that number of points. I have to incorporate that logic, and then the other two have a chance to buzz in. The way the Jeopardy countdown works, it's this. It's this bar that gets like shorter and shorter. I don't know if I want to do that. I think I'm gonna end the stream though. Gotta get some rest. This was fun though. Honestly though, I am gonna like keep coding on this, but probably laying down in my bed, not talking the whole time and just making the thing work. Yeah, JT is mentioning, or if they get it wrong, right? So if they get it wrong, then the other two have the chance to buzz in, or if the timer runs out. There are a lot of rules here. I should have done a checklist, like I always do. I'll tell you what though, I'll go ahead and push this up to GitHub. I will say though, don't make pull requests, mainly because I'm going to be editing the codes. Like, the way you see the code right now is not going to be at all the final version, and I am going to be doing a lot of coding on this tonight. But yeah, I'll push it up to GitHub, but I will say, feel free to fork it and modify it yourself, but I am going to be making quite a few changes to this, so I guess maybe only open pull requests if you have a good reason. I don't know. I mean, feel free to open pull requests, but just know that I may not accept them because I am going to be changing the code a lot. But yeah, let me push it up to GitHub. Dev Party. A local 3-player Jeopardy app based on Vue.js and Electron. Hello, Beacom. Welcome to the stream. Sadly, it is 12:30 a.m. here, so I'm going to end the stream and go to bed. Close-ish. Oh, it's not even a Git repo. Make sure I have a git ignore. Yeah. Cool. Git init. Awesome. Added the origin. I need to now do like an initial commit. Yeah. Ta-da! All right. It's officially on GitHub. I don't think I have a very good README. If you take a look at the package JSON, you can see how to start it up for Electron. If you do npm run serve Electron, that runs the Electron build server. It's actually really cool. So I mentioned this at the beginning of the stream, but I actually used the Vue UI for this project and then just installed the Electron Builder plugin, and it automatically set everything up for me. So like it has a Webpack dev server that is serving up the Vue app inside of the Electron app, and then it has a script for building it, but I didn't have to do any configuration myself. It was all ready to go. I think the main thing is like it creates this background. I think this automatically gets generated here, and this file launches the window and is in charge of like starting up the Webpack dev server. And you can actually go in here and change things like the size of the window that gets launched. And this is the actual like node process here. When you're working with Electron, there's two processes. There's the renderer, which is the actual browser. That's what Vue is doing. And then there's the other process, which is like the actual node process. And that's what this file is for. Yeah, you can mess around with that. Cool. Oh, did you just code that up, Alka, or did you find it? Let's see. Go. That's awesome. Wait, can we start it at a higher second? Yeah, countdown time. 10 seconds. I kind of like that. Like I don't like showing people the exact amount of time that they have. They'll just see the bar. And I think it might make sense to only give them 5 seconds to answer. Yeah, because if you buzz in, you better know the answer. You can't like lollygag. You gotta be quick. That's awesome and seems fairly easy. Are we just doing a percentage width on the inner div? Let's see. Yeah, so so the div is just getting a width of percentage left, and you're calculating percentage left. Are you at all calculating the width? Oh, so no, it's just a percentage fill. Sweet. Very cool. I guess the only caveat here is the parent bar has to have an explicit width for the child to be able to calculate the percentage. That's pretty cool. Okay, I want to go home now. I'm already am home. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna go to bed. Here's the code. I will try to record the actual developer Jeopardy tomorrow. I know a lot of people were interested in watching it, so I'm gonna do my best to maybe like set up this camera and like record my screen tomorrow. Friday, I will be doing a live show. I don't know if it's going to be streamed. I'm going to test out the Wi-Fi tomorrow, but I potentially might do may do a live stream on Friday. If not, that one will definitely be recorded and uploaded later. Okay, this was fun. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in hardware and such, you can check out the stream that I did earlier today where I built this awesome thing. These buttons, which are people can buzz in with. Yeah, it's great. Cool. Oh, and people, Alka and Oliver are mentioning you don't necessarily have to have an explicit width on the parent, like with Flexbox. Cool. Yeah, like it. Okay, I'm gone now. I'm gonna be so exhausted tomorrow. So exhausted. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. This was fun. This code is going to change immensely. I'm going to code it all at in 3 or 4 hours, but 3 or 4 hours. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to go sleep right now, and then I'm going to code it, but not live on the internet. Okay. This was fun. Thanks for tuning in. Wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night. I'll leave you with this.